Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So, as a budget player, I am incredibly price sensitive, and yeah, I'm pretty aware of what certain prices are, but I'm gonna need your help out there right now because these cards are ridiculously cool. I love them, and they will never be budget friendly for me, but I want you to help me figure out just how expensive these cards are going to get because yeah, there's some real heavy hitters from Innistrad Remastered. Let's jump into it. Now, there's a lot of heavy hitters from this set. Again, Innistrad is one of the iconic planes of Magic, and we've been back there a couple of times, and there's been a lot of powerhouses from there, but also now some powerhouse designs. I love the art on these cards, and I can't wait to see it at a Magic table. Just, it's not going to be on my side of the table because these are going to be incredibly expensive. We've already seen actually some of the prices kind of come in initially. This set doesn't come out actually until I believe the 24th of January, and then we'll see where the prices kind of fall there, but yeah, the prices already for these movie poster arts of cards are incredible. And we actually have some previous data to talk about, some previous cards that got this similar treatment, though in a different way. Let's move on to that first, then we'll talk about these cards, where some of them have ended up, and yeah, if you're willing to pick some of these up, just how much you might have to spend for them. So first up, Blasphemous Act. Now, this card already is a movie poster card out there from 2021. There was a secret lair drop from a long time ago that featured 4 cards. I'll go through all 4 of them. That essentially, again, has this movie poster theme, essentially. So we can kind of see where prices fell for these. And also, again, it's going to be slightly different, yes, because secret lair drops are, that FOMO, like, the immediate demand kind of thing, essentially. You can only buy it a certain amount, and then it's gone, versus the Innistrad Remastered is a, master set, essentially. So, master reprint set, whatever we're going to call it. Anyways, Blasphemous Act, again, a huge staple in Commander. Again, it's been reprinted quite a few times, as you can see on the right side. That being said, this very well might be the most expensive version of it, actually, at $23.09. This is a card that has been around for a long, long time. Again, a lot of reprints, a huge card in Commander. Typically, again, I think at one point it was nearly $1 for me, actually, but I don't think I've ever seen it underneath $1. But yeah, around right now, around $2 or $3 or so. But around $23, like 7 times to 8 times the actual price of the card. We can see if actually this stays true. So moving on to the next one, Beast Within. Again, another giant staple in Commander with some amazing art for this one, too. This one, again, is seeing play. I mean, it's one of the top played cards in Commander, right? It's in the top, I think, 20 or 30 at least. Regardless, it sees so much play. It sees so many reprints, even more so than Blasphemous Act. This thing is nearly $1 right now. Again, almost within my budget, but yeah, the version that is this one is 21 times as expensive, essentially, at $21.07. So yeah, that was a very, 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 very in-demand version of Beast Within. Again, might be the most expensive version of it. So you can see already with like the unique art design of these, again, these like full frame movie poster kind, it really stands out obviously at the table, and it stands out in comparison to the other versions of the cards themselves. Next up, Grafdigger's Cage. Again, yet another card that was in that drop. One that no offense to Grafdigger's Cage, but like typically isn't really all that played in Commander. It's like very specific. Hey, players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. Okay. I won't do that then. I wasn't planning on it anyways for the most part. So again, very specific, not typically a Commander. Other formats, absolutely. I think in Modern it did. I don't know. Anyways, $11.34, so less demand for this one. But again, in comparison to the other versions, around $2 or $3. So yeah, about 5 times as expensive. So you can see kind of that. And then also Dismember. That's some really cool movie poster art on this one. And I love like that the dismember word is like cut in half too. That's super cool. Anyways, this one does not really see play in Commander either. Again, in other formats, yes. That being said, it's around $9.49 in comparison to like $2 to $3 or so. So like 3 times as expensive. So again, as we saw, we see, a decent amount of, price increase from them. Like from, I think we went from 3 to, I guess, technically with Beast Within like 21 times. So we shall see exactly where things end up. I would assume it's somewhere in between. But we already have some initial prices for these. And again, these 4 that I just talked about were the secret lair drop from years and years and years ago. 2021. Seems like forever ago at this point. We're coming back to the move poster art. And here we go. Olivia Valderin. This art is incredible. If you have an Olivia Valderin deck, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of players out there like, can I drop $150 on this? That's gonna be a question. Yeah, not for me. Again, like, I'm a budget player. Like, I'm not about to drop that much money on basically anything. That's like, what, 6 decks for me, essentially, at $25 a pop. Regardless, $150 is the current asking price for this. Again, the actual set has not been released. The actual images for the cards have been in full. That being said, yeah, the price might end up there, might end up slightly higher or slightly lower. We shall see. But yeah, this one can be pre-ordered right now, apparently, at $150. And with this card, again, not really, it was reprinted right in Modern Masters, but there was a secret lair drop for it too, which was, more in demand than the actual versions, the initial versions at $5 or so to $9 or so. This one is $150, so quite the price jump there. We will see where this one ends up, but this is the most expensive, apparently sought-after version of all these Innistrad remastered, movie poster cards. Next up, though, Emrakul does not want to be shown up, but currently, just slightly, again, going from 5 to 150, that is quite the jump right there. It's what, 30 times, essentially, as expensive? So, again, I was wrong with a Beast Within, being 21 being the most, but, yeah, we will see where that one ends up. This one, again, is actually a very expensive card already with Emrakul, the Promised End. It's a $44 card at the minimum. I did not realize that, but yeah, very, very, very expensive. Obviously, it can be a very, very, very potent commander. Also a card, of course, in Eldrazi or colorless decks, too. That being said, yeah, $44 all the way up to $107 for the price on this one. So yeah, again, yet another card that is above $100 with this movie poster unique art. There was a secret lair drop around this one as well, years and years and years ago. But I think it was years ago, actually. $57 for that one again. So, like, you can see, like, a little bit unique art does, bring a little bit. But when it comes to, like, okay, like, super unique art like this, it's going to have a premium cost to it and just supply down as well. Next up, Avacyn, Angel of Hope. I love the art on this one, and you can imagine just the suffering on your opponent's faces as you, top deck this in like a my El Anima deck, essentially. Like, oh yeah, off the top, just Avacyn, and this is amazing art. And by the way, all my things are indestructible. Thank you. So yeah, again, Avacyn decks obviously can be an Angel deck. It can be just Avacyn as the commander. Of course, it can be Avacyn in an Angel deck itself, 99, or yeah, just big, beefy monsters, and all of a sudden, you get them into play, and it's really hard to deal with. So yeah, this one at $99 right now. The least expensive version of Avacyn right now is like $37 or so. So about, 2 to 3 times more expensive. Still very, very, very expensive. Again, at that $99 for the, really sweet version, the movie poster version. These designs are absolutely incredible. And people come up with them. Well done. You are incredibly talented. Next up, we've got the Meathook Massacre, and I love this. The name itself sounds like a movie, right? Like, I'm not gonna say, like, I love the card. Like, the card's like, oh, it does that. It's a wrath, and basically like a blood artist kind of thing. Okay. Yeah, basically, this one is an incredibly impactful card in Commander. If you never played against this, you're lucky. Anyways, $87 right now for this version. Again, to me, like, the Meathook Massacre is literally just like, the name of it is very, very, very movie poster-esque anyways. So yeah, getting this is really cool. We have $87 right now. The least expensive version of this is like $34 or so, which is not surprising. Again, a mythic, a very sought-after card in Commander that can fit in a lot of decks out there. Basically, are you in black and do you need like a wrath, or do you just have like, do you have just, creatures lying around maybe that you'd like to, get taken out to drain your opponents, or also just gain life when your opponent's creature get taken out? There's a lot of reasons to utilize a card like this. And again, $87 right now, about 2 to 3 times as expensive as the least expensive version of this. Next up, Griselbrand. Now, this is an interesting one again, because we talked about, like, a lot of the legendary creatures came first, right? We had Olivia, Emrakul, Avacyn. We had those 3 come first, and essentially, yeah, they're all very, very expensive because, again, in Commander, they can be in the Commander as the command, or in the command zone as the Commander, or as part of a deck, especially ones that are like, okay, again, 3 relevant creature types. You've got Angels, you've got Vampires, and you've got Eldrazi, all relevant creature types for like a tribal deck out there, or just big heavy hitters. Griselbrand is obviously slightly different in that it is banned in Commander, at least for the time being. I'm not trying to be disingenuous about that. Like, technically, there is a new, new group that is in charge of the rules, which being Wizards, so they could change things up. I don't think they're going to unban Griselbrand, but you never know. They might. So maybe someday this would actually be a legendary creature that you could utilize, or, you know, if they do, like, banned as commander versus in the 99, they might change that up potentially. You never know. That being said, currently, banned commander, so the demand for this one is just inherently going to be lower, as I'd say that a lot of these, like, you know, alternative art cards, most of the demand, I would think, is, and you kind of saw that from the first one, right? The first ones I talked about from the secret lair drops. Blasphemous Act, Beast Within, much more expensive than Grafdigger's Cage and Dismember, because those, you know, first two cards see heavy play in Commander, which is the most popular format, and one that a lot of players out there like to bling out their decks and show off some unique things like this. This is a really cool piece of art. I absolutely love it. That being said, again, you're not going to see your commander table because it is a banned card. So there you go. Apparently banned in Oathbreaker too. Regardless, $60 for this one still, and that's about 6 times expensive as the least expensive versions. Again, around 9. But yeah, I mean, the multiplication of that makes sense, I guess, but like the upper threshold being like less expensive than the other ones also makes sense as well. So yeah, we shall see. But again, it's some incredibly unique art and a really cool design. Absolutely love it. Okay, next up though, the most expensive one of all these is going to be Edgar Markov. It kind of has to be for a couple different reasons. Number one, on the bottom left side of this card, underneath haste, you might notice the whole, XXX out of 500. Yeah, this is going to be one of those, like, oh, there's only like 500 of these kind of cards. So, yeah, it's going to be heavily in demand, and there's a very low supply. So, yeah, you're going to see this be a lot more expensive, obviously, versus the other ones will have more supply than this, I would assume, at least. That being said, another reason why this one's going to be incredibly expensive is, number one, it's already an incredibly expensive card. Outside the oversized version, which, like, yeah, I guess technically you can use that, right? But you can't really utilize it in the 99. That'd be unless you've got like an all oversized card deck, which I actually made one of those a long time ago on the channel. So that's quite fun. Regardless, the least expensive version of all of these is actually the reprinted version, because this like reprint has been shown off for a while now. The reprinted version in Innistrad Mastered, like the regular version, is $69 right now. Before that, it was like $84, $85, because this card's only been reprinted. I mean, this is like the first actual reprint of the card. 2017 is when it came out. 2021, there was a Judge gift card, and then, yeah, this is the first time that's actually getting a real reprint. So its price going down slightly. It's one of the most popular commanders out there. It's been one of the most popular commanders ever since it ever came out in 2017. Like, a lot of those commanders from 2017 were haymakers in those precons. And this is a very powerful, I mean, Vampire Tribe was one of the most popular tribes out there. It's popular within those decks. It's obviously popular as a commander, incredibly popular. Have I mentioned that it's popular? So again, the price for this one is not out there yet because, well, yeah, it's one where, again, the supply is incredibly limited. The supply, it's going to be very rare to get one of these. Again, there's only 500 of them that are going to be out there, essentially. And right now, again, you see, like, another one of the alternative versions, I mean, the Judge gift card version, right, is at $122. That being said, this is going to be much more expensive than that. Like, oh goodness, I don't even want to put, like, a guess onto this as to what it's going to be. My gut just says, like, $500. Like, it could be, like, that expensive, but let me know out there if you've got some guesses for this one as well. Any Edgar players out there like, oh, I would love to pull this, but, yeah, we shall see exactly where this one ends up. Again, when it comes to, like, it being like, multiplication, like, it's not going to be like times, 21 like Beast Within, most likely, I wouldn't think. This one's going to be times a couple, but still, like, that times matters a lot more because, yeah, it is, yeah, again, already a $70 commander just as it is. So a very expensive card. Next up, and one that just got spoiled recently, Hermit Druid, a really cool card that apparently is banned in Legacy. Did not know that. Regardless, yeah, this is a card that, if you've never played against this in Commander, the opponent that is playing this most likely has either like one basic land in the deck or like none. It's probably none. So essentially, let me just read it real quick because this is a card that, like, maybe some people don't know what it does. Pay a green, tap real cards to the top of your library to reveal a basic land card. Put that card in your hand. All the other cards reveal this way in your graveyard. Basically, a way to just mill your entire deck. So again, if you're winning with like Lab Maniac, or if you've got like, say, I don't know, like Sir Conrad in play or something like that, and like, oh, okay, all my creatures in my graveyard, and you all die. Cool. This is a card that, like, literally has never seen a reprint, I don't think. Like, Stronghold is when the first one came out, which I believe someone said like was 27 years ago. Crazy. It did get like a Judge gift card, but doesn't really count as a reprint at all in 2004. You can see how expensive that one was. But yeah, this is one that has been on the list apparently, but finally actually got a reprint in this set to maybe take that price down slightly. But again, this version of it, of course, is going to be incredibly expensive, being a super rare card, and with a super rare version, yeah, I can imagine this one being, again, upwards of $200. I'm not sure. Okay, so again, this one we have not seen what it's going to be at right now, but it's really, really, really cool design. Absolutely love the art on it. Next up, Captivating Vampire. I did not realize that this is like $12 right now. My goodness, I did not realize that. Again, it's a card that is super good in Vampire Tribal decks, of course. It's an Anthem also. You can use vampires to gain control of things, essentially, which is lovely. But yes, this is a card that, again, finally got a reprint. Hasn't been reprinted for quite some time. 2017, really, the list, I guess, kind of counts, but not really. That being said, yeah, this different kind of art, and with Vampire Tribal being incredibly popular, could definitely be up there in terms of price. Though again, like, I do think that the legendary creatures themselves, the Edgars, the Olivia, the Emrakul, and the Avacyn, and not Griselbrand, just because again it isn't commander. It's not a commander card. Those cards are going to be more expensive, I think, than just like the base versions, essentially the cards that fit into decks, essentially. But I could be wrong on that. Cathar's Crusade might prove me wrong. It is a incredibly good enchantment, one that for any kind of go-wide strategy or, counters decks essentially out there, it's a heavy-hitting haymaker that I am very, 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 very scared to see anytime it hits the table. Like, oh, okay, the threat is there. The threat is right there. This is a card that's only seen so many reprints. It's a card that I've never, ever, ever expected it to be budget-friendly because it's like a perpetually like around $10 or so card. So how much is this going to end up at? I don't know. This art is really sick. I'm saying that for every single one of these, but all the arts are absolutely crazy. I absolutely love them. Really cool art on this one. Next up, we've got the Gitrog Monster. Now, this is an interesting one because, again, this is a legendary creature. It is one that is legal in Commander. But it is one that has, its price is definitely lower than some of the other ones we've talked about. I guess Olivia is a different beast when it comes to that. Olivia's price is actually probably around this, like $5 or so. That being said, I don't know where the Gitrog is going to end up. The Gitrog could end up being one of the more expensive ones out there. This is an incredibly powerful card. It's a broken commander if you've never played against it, if it's doing certain things, like, Dredge Land. Anyways, yeah, it can do some absolutely broken combo things. It's also a very good card in land decks as well, ones that run the sacrifice lands and, draw cards and whatnot. So yeah, it's a very, very, very good card. Again, currently no price on this yet, but we shall see where this one ends up. Yeah, it's not going to end up anywhere near Edgar, but will it end up above? It'll end up above Griselbrand, I would think, but like maybe not above Avacyn. We shall see, or maybe it ends up above all of them. Okay, and then finally, we've got Through the Breach. Now, this one, the art is absolutely cool in this. I absolutely love. All the arts. This one really stands out to me, though. The text on it, something about that, like, it's really cool. Okay, so anyways, this one is one that, again, does see play in other formats, is impactful in other formats. In Commander, you don't typically see this. You don't typically see a card like this, so kind of where does this end up? I'd say like this one and maybe like Hermit Druid is like very specific. Like that one, like for the decks that want it, will be like, oh yeah, that. All the other cards that we talked about, though, on this episode, after the, the initial four that were, from the Secret Lair from years ago, this kind of falls into the more bucket of, like, Grafdigger's Cage and Dismember, where more impactful in other formats. In Commander, not as, it's a good card. It is a very solid card. I'm sure players out there are like, I have this in this deck or whatever, and it's great. Yes, it is. It's a really good card. It just doesn't have that broad appeal as some of the other cards, like Cathar's Crusade. Again, that's a card that's so good in go-wide strategy, so good in counters decks. Captivating Vampire. Vampire is one of the most popular creature types out there by far. And then all the other ones we've talked about for various reasons. That being said, Meathook Massacre. Yeah, just a crazy good, board wipe. This one, again, doesn't have that broad appeal in Commander, so I don't think it's going to be as expensive. Again, the art is fantastic. And sometimes, like, the art differences, like, obviously do matter. Like, this is all about the art, obviously. And sometimes people are like, oh, I like this movie poster art versus that one. So it definitely can influence price more than the other ones. But obviously, when it comes to just, like, demand and, like, how in demand the card is, this is one that's, like, $3 or so. So, yeah, how expensive this one to get, I'm not sure. But, yeah, overall, absolutely amazing arts on all of these. Currently, apparently, this doesn't include, like, all the actual, this is the estimated cost. This doesn't include all of them, obviously, because there's only so many that actually have prices to them right now. But yeah, like, all of these cards are absolutely incredible. I don't know why Blast was acting there. But yes, the actual arts on them are really cool, and they're going to be incredibly expensive. But obviously, if I had to pick one, Edgar Markov with, the limited number that are going to be out there, essentially. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Let me know which ones you think are going to be the most expensive out of all these. Are you interested in these? Or are you a budget player like me and you're going to be like, neat when it hits the table, but it's going to be on someone else's side of the table because you're only spending, $25 on your deck, and this would blow up the budget of your entire deck. Yeah, and then some. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. As always, comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.